Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review. This is a WAHL Eversharp pen. This is one of the modern WAHL Eversharps. In 2020, WAHL Eversharp then joined the pen family as one of the many Italian brands, including ASC, the Amado Simone Club. And you'll see that this box is reminiscent of an ASC. It comes in the same box, and clearly, obviously, Manu is affiliated with both WAHL Eversharp and ASC, and also the pen family as well. So this box is very similar to an ASC box, just with different branding on it. So if I remove the lid, you will see here another box. And if I remove that box, you will see this WAHL Eversharp box. Now it's a little bit hard to see this logo, but if I shine the box in a certain direction, you'll see there it says WAHL Eversharp, and then you've got the WAHL Eversharp logo there in gold. So if I remove this lid, you will see a pen here. So let me first remove that pen. You have this tray, and then you have a number of things here. So you have a blotting card, and then a WAHL Eversharp booklet, which will go over some of the older vintage WAHL Eversharp pens that used to be made, and the filling mechanism there, and some of the newer WAHL Eversharp pens that are now being made. And these are in some of these are actually the older ones, but you do get the newer ones here. And these are very similar, just more oversized. And then you have Manu and Sid Saperstein. So you get that, and you also get this as well. And this is a WAHL Eversharp card. And this is just a warranty card, which never normally gets filled out by retailers. But it's there if you need it. And then you have this vacuum seal, and unfortunately these pens are a little bit too bulky. It's a magnetic closure, but it never quite closes. So let me just remove this, and I'll show you it's magnetic. Here you go. And if I put the tray back and put that back in there and close that lid. And then you have this, and this is a WAHL Eversharp Decoband Oversize Gatsby. And this is an ebonite pen, and it has been really chased with all of this sort of Gatsby sort of design logo, really from the sort of 1900s, from the sort of Gatsby era. And you'll see here it is an oversized pen. You've got a very large sort of cap finial there. This is a rhodium trim, so you get a rhodium trim ring. You get a WAHL Eversharp logo there. You get the WAHL Eversharp vintage, smaller vintage style roller clip that you can see there. You have 3 bands here in rhodium trim, a small band, a larger Greek key band, and then a smaller band here. But you can see this chasing that's going on here, the Gatsby logo that's been engraved. It does look quite nice, I have to say. Now, you'll see in terms of the size, it really gets quite large out here by the cap finial, and it tapers in just slightly. The cap drops down to the body, and it starts to taper down slightly to what is the end cap here. Now, you do have another rhodium trim ring there, and then you have a piston filling knob, or a pneumatic filling knob, and it's got a hole in it, and I'll show you why. Now, if I unscrew the cap, you will see here it has a WAHL Eversharp nib, and it says WAHL Eversharp Superflex, and this is an 18 karat gold 750 nib, and you can just see that there. It's quite nice. Now, it does come with an ebonite feed as well, and it does have this little bit of a sort of notch here on the end of the feed, and that just helps it to flex a little bit more. And you'll see here on the section flutes out. You do have a rhodium ring there, and then you have the section, and then you have the metal threads, and then the body. Now, some of these will unscrew, not all of them will. This one does unscrew. I think a lot of the time that Manu and Sid do glue the bodies onto those threads just to stop people tampering with them. Now, this has a sack inside it, so it's a pneumatic filling sack, and I will just show you as well. This one you can unscrew the section, although most of them do not, and it just exposes the sack there. So you can get these sacks replaced fairly easily by any person that is capable of repairing a vintage pen with a sack in it. Now, the filling mechanism, what the mechanism is, I'll show you here. I find it's a little bit hard to unscrew because there's not much of a knob here, and it's quite tight as well. If I unscrew it, you see a Greek keyband here. So what you do is you pull this out, you have the hole there, you put your finger over the hole and you push this down. This creates a suction, and when this nib is immersed within ink, when you let your finger off that, that creates a suction, and the ink will rush into that sack and fill that pen up. And that will then hold around about 2 milliliters of ink. Now, in terms of in the size of my hand, this is actually a very weighty and quite girthy pen. Now, you can also post the cap if you want to. It is ebonite, so you might mark the ebonite if you repeatedly keep posting the cap. You don't need to post this cap. It just makes it far too long. Even in my hand, I've got large hands. This is actually very, very comfortable to write with. And I do like it has a number 8 size nib. These nibs typically write quite smooth, very wet as well. So with that, I think let's do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we're looking about 150 millimeters in length. The length of the cap, we're looking at 72 millimeters in length. The length of the body, we are looking at about 142, maybe 143, no, 142 millimeters in length. The full weight of the pen, we are looking at 57 grams almost, and this is uninked. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just over 13.5 grams, and then the weight of the body, uninked, we are looking at just over 39 grams. So it's actually quite a heavy weight pen. But you can see here that this pattern is really nice. I do like the pattern, the way that it is engraved. I'm not typically a fan of ebonite pens unless maybe they are urushi lacquered. But I do find though that this is quite a nice pen there. So I think with that, let's go and do a pen comparison. So from left to right, we have a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. We have a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove, a Visconti Watermark, an Omas Milord in the Wild, an Omas Arte Italiana Paragon Grande in the Arco Brown, a WAHL Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Gatsby, an ASC Bologna Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Arco Brown, an Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Arco Verde, a Visconti St Basil, and a Visconti Opera Master Luna. So let's go and do a writing sample. So this is the WAHL Eversharp, and it's the Decoband, and it is the Oversize, and it's a Gatsby, and it's a medium 18 cat gold nib, just running out of space. Now the ink in here today is Lamy black, and I think that really does work nicely with this colour pen. I think in terms of line variation, this is typically known as a medium nib. Now, I normally find that these write really more like a Western board. Now, I can actually coax a lot more line variation out of this. So some of these Superflex nibs can be very, very flexy. And you can see that there. Now, you don't see any hard starts or skips with this nib. Now, in terms of wetness, I think you're going to say that, or find that this is a very wet nib. Yeah. And just horizontal pass there. This is quite a fire hose of a nib. This is an A4 page, so to have an ink smear this wide is actually pretty wet. So for me, what do I like and what do I not like about this pen? Well, for me, I like the Armando Simone Club Bologna Extras. I like the length, the size, the weight of them. And this is very similar, slightly different design, but it's got this girth to it, it's got the weight, and it's got the length to it as well. Although not quite as long as the Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra pens. I love this 18 karat gold nib. Now this is a number 8 size nib, and it's a Bock nib there. And I just love it. I love the nib and how it writes, and I love the size, and I love the weight of the pen. The only thing that typically I don't like as much is normally the filling mechanism. I really would prefer that there was a piston in here. I do know that a piston would only hold around 1 to 1.2 milliliters of ink, whereas these sacks are quite large, so they will hold around 2 milliliters of ink. Personally, I think I prefer the piston over the sack. Now, these sacks are easily repairable, so if you are out of warranty and you can't get it repaired, then you could take it to a regular vintage pen repairer and they would be able to replace the sacks for you. But I think typically the sacks should last around 10, maybe 15 years. That's really my only downside to this pen, and it's a personal preference. Like, I do like the very large 2 milliliter capacity. It's just, I think for me, I'd rather have a more longer lasting filling mechanism, which would be the piston over a rubber or latex sack. But that's just my own personal preference here. So I'd like to thank John from stjohnspens.com for loaning me this pen for review. You can see John on Instagram at stjohnspens, or visit him at stjohnspens.com on his website. John does go to a lot of the UK pen shows and some European pen shows. Unfortunately, with the way coronavirus has spread in 2020 through to 2021, it's been a little bit unsafe to hold a lot of pen shows. But hopefully we will all be back soon to those, and we will be able to start enjoying ourselves once more. But if you can't get to a pen show, then do check John out on Instagram or on his website for some of his pens. So again, I'd like to thank John for loaning me this pen for review. So this is my review of the WAHL Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Gatsby. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.